Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chris from T3 Handicapping. Today is Friday, February 21st, 2025. We've got another play of the day coming from the fairgrounds in race number 6, going 5.5 furlongs on dirt. It's an allowance non-winner of 2 condition. Gets a race rating of a 95 from us. This race really jumped out at me again because there's a really clear number one selection, in my opinion. It does happen to be the favorite. But Fairgrounds Dirt Sprints have also been extremely good with this model. Right now, I think there's 17 races in the database, and winners are the top ranked horse is winning at about, I think, 52% or something like that. So, well above the averages here. And so, I kind of when I scan these cards, I start by certain race types that have best fit the profiles, and then look at the categories within there to see if any horse kind of aligns with other key winners. And we happen to have one here in the 6th race. So we'll go ahead and dive into it. Once again, if you are interested in really diving deep into the full process, you can check out the early videos of this series. But otherwise, we're just going to do kind of a quick cap here. So as I mentioned, 5.5 furlongs on the dirt, allowance non-winners of 2 condition. And we started with our stack rank 6, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. You can see that up here in row 2. Then I went through and did my eliminations. Not sure why that got removed from there. The only horse that I eliminated today was the number 4 horse. As you can see, only 3rd place in Heart. Otherwise, this doesn't really have anything significant here. Low percentage trainer, high percentage jockey, which I do tend to like. But the main issue that I had with this horse is that it's a closing type horse, and I just don't see a lot of speed in this race. It is the one concern I have about the board that I've played, and I'll explain that here in just a minute. So when I went to do my quick check, I kept things largely the same. The only difference was I really like the 3 horse here with Jose Ortiz for Norm Cassie. Now, this horse, when you go through and you look at the figures, I mean, it's obvious to see why the 6 is placed on top in the quick check, why we kept that one at number 1. Mostly green, especially in the key stats. Pair of socks, the number 5, a lot of key stats. And number 1, again, just a lot of key stats, but fewer first and second places than the number 5. So that order of things makes sense. But this 3 presented an interesting challenge in the 5th position, because from that 5th position, it doesn't really have much, even compared to the number 2 horse, who has 3 third place factors, including 2 prime factors. So that's a positive, but I look at this race and I start really seeing where things are at, and I'm looking and I'm saying, okay, there's only one true confirmed front runner in the field, and that's the number 7, who ranks extremely low in my overall stack rank. In fact, has 0 factors. Normally, I would eliminate that horse right away, but the problem is I just don't know if I see any other speed in here that's going to go with that horse. And so that kind of left me in a tough position. And so what I ended up doing, and the reason that the 3 ended up moving up 2 spots in the quick check rankings, is because I've got a top jockey trainer, which I think is helpful. But in particular, I think this is a race that could potentially really, really slow down unless a smart jockey can go up and put enough pressure on the 7 to cause a more fair pace setup. And I think the 3 might be the horse to do that, and I just feel that if the 3 can get up and be in that tactical spot, that the 3 might be able to outperform some of these other rivals. I think if the 3 doesn't go and doesn't put that pressure on, I don't see a ton of other potential pressure. I mean, maybe the 5 is up there, but I don't typically like those front-running types with low speed points. I just find that they're a little unreliable when it comes to getting up on the front and trying to put that pressure on. So I just got a little nervous about the speed of this race and felt like the 3 could be one that's more forwardly placed and maybe would be one that I would be willing to move up the stack rank despite being lower in the overall score as well as in some of the key factors. So that was really the big change I made here. Everything else stayed the same. So then when I went to put together my my picks grid. The 6 is alone in first. This 16.9, 10 points or greater has been a significant threshold. You can see the 5 is pushing 10 points, but not over. Horses that are 10 points or over in their final score, especially at the fairgrounds in dirt sprints, have been winning at a just absurd clip. And so I feel pretty confident putting this one on top. Even on days that we haven't won at the fairgrounds, we've seen those horses be successful. So hopefully we can get that one home. In second place, I think, again, similar to yesterday's races, I think there's a lot of possibilities underneath. I already mentioned the 5, the 3 as two potential horses in that second position. And then I think the 1 is just kind of an all-around, well-rounded horse. I think horses that have a lot of factors but not a lot of first-place factors are prime candidates for second and third place finishes because they're just not better than anybody in the field at anything, but they can kind of be in the mix. So I put the 1, 3, and 5 in both second and third. I'm going to be honest, I really struggled. I went back and forth on these third and fourth positions because the 2 and the 7, who are both still on the tickets, I could really easily make a case for them to also still be in third as well, because I think, the difference between third and fourth is often so minuscule. I generally like to see, when I'm just putting a horse in fourth, either they're just sort of hopeless in a lot of ways, or a lot of times that'll be like a closer that I just don't anticipate getting there. If the 7 gets to the front and then starts to fade, will it fade to third or fourth? That's a really hard thing to predict, but I wanted to keep the cost down in this race because it's only a 7-horse field. So whereas yesterday I wanted to keep the cost down because I wasn't super confident in the handicapping, in this race I just know that the spread of the pool isn't going to be as big, so I need to stay a little bit more lean. So if this was a 12-horse field and I had narrowed it down to these horses, 2 and 7 would be in third place as well, and I just use all of my contenders in third and fourth. But that's not the case today, so I just moved them down to fourth alone, and I'll just take my chances. And if I lose, I'm still riding the profits of 2 days ago, and some of the hits we've already had, so I'm okay with that, right? It's about being able to keep that bankroll surviving to another day. So in the end, my bet board looks like this. I'm going to take the 6. I really like the 6. I think the 6 is obviously the horse to beat, especially coming from those connections. So I'm going to take the 6, again, down to even money for the $10 win wager that we always do. We'll take the 6 over the 1, 3, 5, so our first over our second choices. For any combination paying more than $12, that will be a maximum of $3 on that $1 exacta. I'm going to play the $1 try, 6 over the 135 over the 135. Again, tries are not value dependent, so that'll be $6 for me. And the try was really the biggest reason why you don't see the 2 and 7 in third place. I'm trying to keep that number down closer to 6 as opposed to $9 or $12 by including those further up the line. And then our 10-cent super 6 with 135, with 135, with 13527. Again, I did flirt with moving the 2 into the third spot, moving the 7 into the third spot, but I didn't feel that adding nearly $1 for each combination, adding the 2, for example, into third would have made this 270, so nearly $1 more expensive just to get that one extra coverage, and I didn't feel that was requisite of the value that I was going to get back for it. So I opted to just keep it tight, keep it thin. Like I said, that's something that I've really been finding a lot of success with. Keep the losses smaller and allow the wins to essentially cover more ground when you get them. So that's the way we're going to play. Today, as I mentioned, is Friday, the 21st of February. So today on horses.bettingnews.com, we will be dropping the 4 articles for the weekend. So that's Gulfstream and Santa Anita on Saturday, Aqueduct, and then the rescheduled Rebel Stakes from Oaklawn on Sunday. All of those articles will be dropping today, so you can go check out the analysis there for the entire weekend of racing. Best of luck in all of your horse racing endeavors today, and as always, cash those tickets.